It's in the 40 years that I've been in the entertainment industry, I don't think there's ever been a time filled with so much new and unique opportunity for the world of television. I know that all seems so wonderful and exciting. I mean, everyone loves the idea of new opportunity. It sounds so, well, I don't know, opportune. But the reality is that everything about opportunity isn't always simple or easy. Opportunity involves risk, and in many instances, it can feel threatening. This is because a lot of people see the world as a zero-sum game. According to this view, if one person seizes a new opportunity, then someone else has to lose ground. There are plenty of pundits that share this view. For example, Sean Maloney, the former executive vice president of Intel, was quoted in the Telegraph as saying, and I read a quote, "Over the next 2 years, you're going to have an explosion in high-quality video broadcasts on the internet. People no longer have the patience to sit in their chairs in front of the TV and wait for it to happen. That whole way of life is going to change, and it will completely unravel the traditional television model. The era of TV is drawing to an end," unquote. You'll be happy to hear Mr. Maloney said this back in 2007. Since then, by almost every single measure, traditional TV viewing has not only remained robust, it has actually continued to expand. So it seems that all the zero-sum thinkers maybe should reconsider their math. Yes, there will continue to be exponential growth of internet-delivered content, but linear TV will continue to do just fine, and I actually think I can prove it to you. I'd like to give you a history of the last 550 years of the media business. Fortunately for you, I'm actually going to do it in just about 30 seconds. It was back in 1445 that Gutenberg made mass media possible by inventing the printing press. 150 years later, we had the first newspaper. Then another century passed, and in 1731, the first magazine debuted. In 1892 came the first motion picture exhibition. 1907 brought the first regular radio broadcast. 1927, television arrived. And in 1982, something called the Internet Protocol Suite was standardized, leading to the World Wide Web. I give you this brief chronology to demonstrate that if people like Sean Maloney were to be right in their predictions that the Internet will render linear television obsolete, then this would go against the entire half-millennium history of mass media I just shared with you. Throughout this history, in not one instance did a new form of mass media replace an earlier form. Here's how historian Daniel Bornstein once explained this phenomenon, and I quote, "We're prone to what I call the displacive fallacy, to believe that every new technology displaces the old technology, that television will replace radio, that electronic news will displace print journalism, that the automobile will replace the human foot, and that television will replace the book. But each of these new technologies has simply given a new role to the earlier technologies. The development of technology is not displacive, it is cumulative," unquote. It is actually with this in mind that our company is working to take advantage of the expanding media universe. Of course, we continue to produce theatrical animated films. A single hit movie can drive enormous success on old platforms, new platforms, and platforms we haven't even imagined yet. And we can continue to have series of linear TV, which is great for our brand and great for these networks. In addition, this year we made the biggest first-run deal in Netflix history. Under the terms of this agreement, we will create more than 300 hours of original content. We've also announced an important multi-year partnership with Super RTL to provide thousands of TV series episodes, both original and from our newly expanded content library. This is the first of a number of international deals we're making with leading telecasters. Because there are so many emerging distribution options, there will inevitably be more demand for content. To meet this demand, last year, we bought Classic Media, which comprises one of the most extensive portfolios of well-known entertainment properties, such as Casper the Friendly Ghost, Where's Waldo, Lassie, Rocky and Bullwinkle, as well as Peabody and Sherman, the characters who will star in our next DreamWorks animation movie release coming next year. Also earlier this year, we acquired Awesomeness TV, which is one of the most subscribed to teen networks on YouTube, and is overseen by someone who has an unbelievable understanding of the possibilities of internet content, Brian Robbins. Awesomeness has already signed up over 180,000 channels, aggregated over 25 million subscribers, and almost 2 billion video views. All of this in less than a year. As of August, Awesomeness had over 60 million unique monthly viewers. And in terms of engagement, which measures all of the social network activity prompted by different forms of entertainment, Awesomeness is actually #1, as you can see in this chart. The Awesomeness deal gets us directly in touch with our teen audience in a way we simply can't with movies or TV shows. This is breathtakingly new, and at the same time, not new at all. Remember Dr. Borston's observation about the displacive fallacy? Well, he's right, but he didn't actually take it far enough. So, to his displacive fallacy, I would add what I would like to call the parfait paradigm. I mean, as Donkey says in Shrek, everybody likes parfaits. Parfait's got to be the most delicious thing on the whole damn planet. Well, they also help explain why it is that new media never replaces old media. According to the parfait paradigm, each new medium gives us qualities that are complementary to the media that is already in place, just like an additional layer in a parfait. As a result, the entire media experience simply becomes richer and more satisfying. The latest example of this phenomenon in mobile entertainment, which is solving one of the greatest problems of the 21st century, waiting. People often decry the fast pace of modern life, but in reality, it's really not precisely a non-stop whirlwind. We move fast, but then we wait. Fast, then wait, fast, wait some more. We rush through a store, and then we wait to check out. We rush to the multiplex, and then wait in the ticket line. We rush to an airport and wait through security, and after flying through the air at over 500 miles per hour, we wait for our baggage. We rush to a restaurant, and we wait for the other person to arrive. I suppose you rushed to get here today and then waited for this keynote to start. Until now, we literally twiddle our thumbs while we waited. There was nothing else to do. Now our thumbs have a higher purpose than to twiddle. Through touch screens, we actually now can touch the world. Thanks to these devices, waiting as we know it is dead. And a rich new layer has been added to the media parfait. I hope this makes clear why mobile isn't a threat to traditional TV. But beyond this, I believe it will actually prove to be an asset to it. Again, we can look to the past to get insight into the future. Back in the 50s, when television really became a presence, everyone in Hollywood felt it was going to result in the cataclysmic demise of the movie business. Interestingly, if this is proven to be the case, I might not even be up here today. You see, in 1977, when I was working at Paramount, my first big assignment was to oversee production of the first Star Trek movie. This was an expensive film, and it was somewhat controversial because people questioned if there would be an audience for a movie based on a TV show. Well, it turned out to be a very big hit, and it launched a giant franchise, and also, I think, in some respects, my own career. Since then, TV shows from Monty Python to Muppets to Mission Impossible have demonstrated the crossover value of TV to movies. This same crossover phenomenon is already happening in the relationship between mobile and linear TV. Just this past July, Awesome as TV debuted a show on Nickelodeon called, not so surprisingly, Awesome as TV, and it is a giant hit. In this way, mobile isn't just complementary to linear, it can serve as an incubator of talent and concepts, and then can actually drive additional traffic to traditional TV. The opportunities are endless in this expanding world of television. And this is why DreamWorks is betting so strongly on it. Indeed, as we look to the future, we see only one limiting factor, and it is something that we actually all have and will continue to wrestle with. The fact is that what drives success in any and all forms of media is great storytelling. There is a reason that Gutenberg's first book was the Bible. It is, after all, referred to as the greatest story ever told. Well, great stories and great storytellers are actually hard to come by. To illustrate what a consistent challenge this is, let me show you this graph. That blue line simply shows how the threshold for what it takes to make film content has plunged during the last 40 years. In the 70s, if you wanted to shoot a broadcast quality video, it was incredibly hard. You needed a full production studio worth many millions of dollars. Today, it's incredibly easy. To shoot high-definition video, you don't need anything more than a smartphone in your pockets. But now, I'm going to overlay another trend line for that same period of time. You'll note that the red line is perfectly flat. It represents the threshold for what it takes to tell broadcast quality successful stories. And that threshold simply hasn't changed at all. It's just as hard today as it's ever been to tell a great story that other people will find engaging. Storytelling in any medium is very difficult, and great storytellers are difficult to find. In Elizabethan England, there were lots of playwrights, but pretty much only Shakespeare's work has endured. With this in mind, look at the recent success of Netflix. What's amazing isn't just its streaming technology or its subscription-based model. What's amazing is that Netflix was able to consistently find and produce great stories. With shows like House of Cards, Arrested Development, Orange is the New Black, any TV service, network, cable, or over-the-top would have had success with these shows. Similarly, under the guidance of Brian Robbins, who's a natural storyteller himself, Awesome as TV is telling short-form stories that kids love, and then they want to share those stories with their friends. And that is what makes it awesome. Whether the media is old or the media is new, content continues to reign as king. And this is because, like all royalty, it's rare. This is what drove our acquisition of Classic Media, which is an exceptionally deep and rich collection of established stories and characters that have deeply connected with audiences for more than 2 generations. We still have to find great new ways to tell these stories, but like beachfront property out here on the Quasette, content such as this is scarce and therefore has inherent and growing values. Perhaps the greatest demonstration of the tremendous value of timeless content like this can be found at a place I once worked at, Disney. Under Bob Iger's leadership, Disney's acquisition of Pixar, Marvel, and Lucasfilm has been tremendously applauded in Hollywood and on Wall Street. Together, these acquisitions cost upwards of $15 billion. But without a question, their long-term value will prove to be far, far greater. All of which is to say, while it's certainly true that the prosumer electronics market has made it possible for anyone to create high-definition imagery, the fantastic equipment does not make it possible for anyone to create high-definition great stories. For that, we need great storytellers. And once their touch is added, Touchscreens can take us anywhere and everywhere.